All right, I'm back. I don't know what happened there. All right, let's get back up and running. No idea what happened, dude. My Streamlabs software went out. I've been having problems with my Streamlabs software. Let's go. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. Okay. I wanted to show you guys what I mean by the energy trade. How energy was just pulling back here, right? Or consolidating. It's roughly at lows of this trading session right now. Energy is. Let me, I'm going to revisit my trade to news here. I want to make sure I get this up and running again. Treasury bond auction. Okay. We'll come back. We'll come back. Quick reset there. Quick reset. Never hurt anybody. SPY keeps ripping. S&P 500 heading towards that gamma flip line. $51.90 still is like, still to me is a pin. They're starting to reach a little bit more to $52.30. Not really a lot of conviction there. So it gives me a little pause. Okay, I'm trying to look for this energy chart that I had. I don't even know where to begin to look. I brought it up before. Boo doo boo boo boo. Some interesting charts right now that I'm actually going through that I might have to revisit, even despite seeing today's price action. Give me a second. I'm still looking for it. There it is. Yahoo! Yahoo! Okay. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back, people. Y'all paying attention? Don't lose me. Make sure I got the... Okay, so check this out. Check this out. Yeah, I can check UNH and Snow again. I've checked those out just a little while ago, or earlier in the stream. Snow, at least, not UNH. What happened? My stream went out. Streamlabs, it's software. It's not my computer. The software has been very, very like weird. They might be doing an update. I know that they're adding TikTok into the platform to stream towards, and it could be something to do with that. I don't really know. Not 100% positive. I'm not like 100% positive. Okay, but check this out. Right, we were talking about how energy, right? People are so focused now on tech, right? But energy has been making this big run. So on days like this, people like, oh yeah, energy was the underperformance, it's the worst performing sector, but it's been making the biggest move. It's been doing very good from a relative standpoint, you know, versus the S&P 500. So this consolidation should not be looked over. It's looking at oil on the daily time frame. Come on now, oil on the daily time frame, just consolidating. It's made a big move, a big breakout, right? Consolidation, consolidation, consolidation. And this is all to my point. So look at the 10-year yield, right? TNX, CGI. Today we hit, like we're down slightly, but we made a rapid move where today we tagged a new high for 2024. Not only in the 10-year yield, probably the 2-year too as well. Okay. these all correlate strongly. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because people are like, hey, dude, Apple just ripped. Yeah, Apple ripped. It did. Big old move out of a tight pocket. Great catch. Let's look at the other S&P 100 names. Microsoft up 1.36%. Beautiful consolidation. We've been looking for this to come into this gray shaded box here. And looks like it's trying to make a move out of that pivot as it stands. Okay, there's Microsoft. What about NVIDIA? NVIDIA, it's breaking out of this little pivot, right? Boom. So some decent moves overall. Google, just just keeps on ripping. Another all-time high for Google. Amazon hit the target that we've been talking about since this little pivot breakout area, right? Boom. Nice move. Another all-time, or not actually, that might actually be an all-time high. That's an all-time high. Today, Amazon hit an all-time high. Right? What was the goal here with Amazon? It was to double the size of this consolidation, and it basically did that today. Okay, so another good move. Meta, take a look at Meta, also consolidating here too as well. So the tech looks really good, but it's still concerning. While tech is doing very good, you have the 10-year yield just ripping, right? So the 10-year yield ripped. I already showed you. Let me show you the dollar, and this all comes to a point. The Dixie, the dollar, trade weighted dollar, a high today too as well. Now, why is this concerning to me? Because if energy is just consolidating here, if oil is just consolidating and it breaks out further, let me show you what it looks like from a relative standpoint. Okay, this right here above us is the S&P 500 or XLE, so XLE relative to the S&P 500. So what does that mean? This means when this line goes up, it means energy is outperforming the S&P 500. That's what that means. Line go up, energy is the performer. Now, look down here. What's this? Down here is the S&P 500, just as is. Why is this interesting? Well, because look at when energy outperformed the S&P 500 all throughout 2022, and you can go back their history too and look at this stuff. What did S&P 500 do? While this was ripping higher and higher from a relative standpoint, we went through the bear market of 2022. We actually talked about this going into 2022. We talked about how energy was one of the better performers. And we talked about from a relative standpoint, from a cycle standpoint, how it looked like utilities was picking up speed, consumer staples, and healthcare. And that typically marks topping points in markets, cycle points. Okay. Then what? Well, we started going down. What happened? Market went higher. Then right here, even on a 10% correction from August to October when we were in negative gamma territory, which we showed earlier on the stream, this started going up. What did the S&P 500 do? It went down. Now, why is this concerning? Because we're consolidating energy and this thing has been moving and we're starting to see a little bit of choppy and a little bit of weakness here in the S&P 500. So back to my point. Today is a good day. It's up 1%. We're coming slightly back in. It makes sense, right? Because we already talked from a gamma perspective. But when I look at the SPY, where are we? Right? We're still below this potential reversal candle. We've still had multiple days of distribution, right? So like for example, on down days, look at the volume. If it's bigger than the prior day, it's considered like a distribution day. Right here was not a distribution day. But this was a distribution day right there. This was a distribution day. I mean, they're piling up. Distribution day. Distribution day, right? All these are distribution days. What does that mean? It means the days that are down are going on more volume than the prior trading days. And it builds. It could be distribution. It doesn't mean that it has to resolve itself to the downside. It could be consolidation. But that is what I'm talking about here. Energy's taking a pause. 10-year yield. What am I doing wrong here? Okay. Boom. It's off the lows of the day. It's almost flat for the day. So is this just like, is this a fake out? I mean, I wouldn't put it past the market to fake people out. Remember, in negative gamma territory, which we are in right now, you could get face ripping rallies, buying into buying, and then you get selling into selling, right? Liquidity dries up, which creates volatility. It doesn't cause causation. I go back through history and study when you see rapid rates of oil, what it does from a geopolitical standpoint. I mean, dating back to the oil embargo, you'll be surprised what you see. I have a chart for you to show you. Rising oil prices cause problems. And it's not just the rise in oil, it's the rate of change which it moves. I'll prove it right here. I got another chart to show.
Morgan Stanley extending declines here now, down more than 6.5% on the day.
Give me a second. Let me find the chart. When you feel the world is over. I found it. Okay, so check it out. You know where to find me. I'm gonna have to hide myself. Okay, this is the chart of oil. Absolute price, right? Monthly chart of oil. And if you date back down to the 80s, you can go back further. But notice rapid rates of change in the price of oil. So we're looking at a 1-year rate of change, rising rates of change in the price of oil. What it created there shortly thereafter when you reach up to like 100%. It's pretty wild, actually. Right? So when you came up here, there's the 1987 crash, 1990, dot-com bust, financial crisis. This was happening into 2022 and was a huge call that we made. We said, I don't know what's going to happen here, but we saw energy, we saw oil, we saw all the telltale signs that we can go into a bear market. Right? So rising oil prices, a rising rapid rate of change in oil can cause issues down the road. And we're seeing a decent, now not from a 12-month, this was a monster move off of lows, and then we saw it reach back up. So now, let me lower this down. So now I look at the 10-year yield. I look at oil, because 10-year yield and oil, they move hand in hand. All right, oil. It's just consolidating. It's just moving sideways. I'm actually interested to see what AMLP looks like. Ooh. AMLP could be a pullback worth watching. Huge yield on these things. Pullback in an uptrend. Could be worth watching. All right. Yeah. I'm back. Game of Trade just showed that chart on oil. I'm not surprised, dude. A lot of people took that chart from me. Actually, when I posted that chart, and I didn't even get credit for it, but Equity Clock, a big company that does like a seasonal stuff, they took my exact chart and then put it on their newsletter. And a bunch of other people used it as well. It happens very frequently, actually. Okay, cool, Ruben. I'll keep an eye on it. I'll keep an eye out for the contact page. Where, like in Patreon or oh, like my regular email probably.
Higher by about 2.5 basis points.
Brett, I don't know if you're trolling or not, but I just block trollers. So if you want to watch the stream and you're trolling, I'll kick you from the stream. and I'll just block you. But if you're not, and if I'm reading it incorrectly, then my bad. Don't have time, energy to deal with losers. You feel me? If you got time to watch me and hate, your life sucks. Just saying. Go outside, touch some grass, and have some fun. All right, Brett. It's all good. My bad. I must have misread. AA is saying that GOT has been bearish for about a year plus. People call me bearish all the time, but I think the people that actually watch the show, the ones that aren't just headline reading, actually they're like, oh yeah, no, it's he's bullish here and then bearish there, or bullish when this happens, bearish when that happens. I think that's the misconception a lot of people get is they'll read the headline or a title. Like I remember people making fun of some other YouTubers saying, see, it's so bearish, and the market went up after all these bearish. But then you watch his video and he's talking about exactly what he was doing during that time, during the bearishness, which was buying the market. You know, it's like, dude, all you had to do was watch the video and you could have got some great information. It's crazy. Crazy. Okay, let's take a look at 0-day levels. Still nothing's changed here, people. 5190, 5200. So the market's coming in slightly here. Market net flow. Market net flow is waning. Still bullish, but it is waning here. So yeah, I still kind of stand by the whole trade has been made that we said into and around the 5200 here, 5190, 5200. For intraday, right? You can get tactical and go into the smaller time frames. Looking at the 30-minute, that's my thought here. Let's go into smaller time frames and look at NQ. Let's give it a shot. I don't really like the look of that. It looks like it's like kind of giving up for the day, taking a breath. I mean, I get it. It's been a huge move. You know, it looks like it's kind of just giving up a little bit. If it is going to start moving up higher, maybe we can watch for a trend break. You know, you see this trend here. You see the lower, it's kind of a lower high here. So there's the trend. Hey, there's the trend break. There's the trend break. That's funny. But I would still say a high, lower high, low, lower low. So maybe wait to see if that changes up here.
Instructure INST announcing exclusive Canvas collaborative learning experience powered by Lucid software. Available worldwide at no extra cost for India November Sierra Tango. 1 hour now to the U.S. cash equity close. The Dow up 107. The S&P at 5206 at 46 handles.
If they use my charts, can I take legal action? No. Not even interested in anything like that. I mean, yeah, no, I put it out there for the public for free, right? And it's like, they can rebuild the charts. It's totally fine. There's nothing bad about it. It's more of like a, what would be the word? Like an integral thing. Like you can do, like people want to be smart or come like they made this, like created it and like sound smart. It's kind of an egotistical thing. But from my experiences, I mean, you build better communities and you build more relationships if you just thank people and call them out. I mean, it's not like you're, I don't know, you know? Peter, you think that I'm bearish? Yeah, bearish what though? Bearish on what? In what time frame? Because I can be bearish. I can be bearish. I can be bearish. I can be bullish. I mean, if you look at my portfolio and if you're in the Discord, if you're in Trade Ideas, I haven't posted a short position for, I don't know. Somebody's in there has to look of how long it's been since I posted a short position. Thanks, Aaron. Thanks, Doc. Poppable. Thanks, Brett. No, Brett, I didn't mean to sound mean. I just have a low tolerance for if it doesn't sound like you were trolling it now but I couldn't get a good grasp on it because I missed maybe some of the pieces of the chat or something. But you guys, I understand. I deal with that too frequently, and there's a lot of people here that just enjoy being here. And I spend a lot of time, and this is free, by the way. It's not paywalled. So, you know, I spend my time, my day doing this stuff, and if I'm going to sit here and just get like crap for it, I might as well just trade my accounts and make money, you know? Because the reality is YouTube doesn't pay me anything. I can prove that. You want to know how much I made last month on YouTube? $700. You think I can make a living making $700 a month on YouTube? Absolutely not. That's not even a joke. Not even an understatement. I made $700. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? So much effort and time goes into these videos too. It's like, honestly, part of me is like, and now I really enjoy doing the lives because I don't need to structure everything so much. Dang, this thing is ripping though. Look at the little trend break in the back test. It's kind of nice. Kind of makes me want to trade. About 30-50. Oh, gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. I didn't even know. Dude, I don't even remember doing that. That's funny. It's all good. Cool. Yeah, my bad. I get things wrong all the time, including that. Including misreading chat. Have I watched Wall Street Maverick on YouTube? Permabear, good content. I haven't watched his stuff. But I've heard people, I think I've been told about, I've been definitely told about it. I don't know too much of him, or about him or what's it about, but, I've heard good things from various people. So I don't know. Trader Joe saying do the worst. I'm getting mixed things. Like I've heard good. I hear about, you're going to hear the same thing about me. You're going to hear good things. You're going to hear bad things. And it's, the thing is like, I mean, this is the same thing about good movies. Like, dude, I loved watching. Dude, look at that. Come on now. I should have been ready to trade that. I love watching, what's that movie with Tom Cruise? That one movie with Tom Cruise? Maverick, right? Dude, I thought that movie was rad in the theaters. But other people are like, yeah, it's okay. I'm like, really? That movie was sick. That movie was sweet. Top Gun. Thank you. Wait, it was called Maverick though. Or no, now I'm getting the two confused. Aren't I? Well, we did get that trend break. I was definitely not prepared for it. I would have loved to do a quick scalp there. I'm up on the day a whopping $80 across 19 accounts. So I guess 80 times 19. I had 20 accounts, but I totally screwed the pooch on the early trading session. I forgot to link. So if you trade these prop firms or in Trade of 8, you can copy trade your accounts so you can combine them. And I forgot to hit the group. So I was trading 20 accounts and I pushed it all that I thought I was going straight between 20 into one account multiple times, getting ready for a pop. And the trade was wrong, but instead of just being wrong a little bit, it was wrong the combination of all 20 accounts in one account. So it blew. It just went poof, gone. Total mistake on my end. But on the good note, it was 1 out of 20 and I have all my 20 accounts. So I didn't lose across the board. I lost on just one account. It is what it is. The mistakes. All right. Any stocks that people want me to pull up right here in the meantime? Since I re-entered, we did do I put a little position here into FDX. A very speculative early entry. I didn't even wait for the break. or confirmation. So there's a pro and a con to that. The pro is that you get an earlier entry, but you're not really buying the strength of a breakout. I am buying, no, that would be the pro. You get an earlier entry. The con is you're not buying the strength of a breakout. So it's speculative. It has its pros. It has its cons. Find consistency. And if I go early entry, it's smaller. If I'm in negative gamma territory, right, which we are, not by much, I use a smaller position. So it was like a 3% position. It's nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. Okay, we got GCT, UNH, AEHR. Okay, let's pull them up. GCT sounds familiar. I'm going to look at these GigaCloud from the daily perspective. Ah, man, it's I'm trying to think, like, when I look at it, the first thing I look at is trend. So the trend's pretty darn good right now. The shorter term trend's, wonky. You can see that just by the green line, the 20-day moving average. The price, saw some nice move right here on some big volume, which is good. And then the pullback here was on lower volume, okay? And that's positive. And then today we're getting a break of that, which creates, a morning star reversal 3-bar pattern. So this is a bullish price action here. So yeah, if that's the case, your stop would be here and you play it up. So to me, it looks good. It's not my exact style of trade. Like, so for me, like, maybe I would have played the breakout of this last high if I was prepared and ready for that. And then I'd have a little bit tighter stop. But overall, I mean, you have a low, a higher low, a higher low. Now you're starting to get a lower high. So, I'd like to see it tighten up a little bit more, or come up and then and then maybe have an inside trading day. And then, yeah, my entry would be way worse, but my risk could be a little bit more managed, because if I enter here, my stop would be minus 10%. So I'd really have to beta adjust, right? Beta adjust it, because I'm not going to take a full position and take a 10% loss on a full position, but I'll take a 10% loss on half of a position, or even a little bit smaller. So then, yeah, it might look like, oh, you lost 10% on that. Yeah, but not quite, like, relative to my portfolio, because I adjusted it correctly. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it looks good. It looks fine right now. And we're seeing some volume on this move, which is a positive sign, as it's holding that 50-day, which is inclining. So as time progresses, if this went up a little bit more, the 20-day is going to start flattening out to curling up. And if it did that, the 20-day comes up, the 50-day comes up, and then potentially sets up like that, or something, like, could be like that, or so forth. It's up 8% today, and I don't like tracing that stuff. But the same thing is, same thing here when DID broke out. I play the breakout, and then even the next day or the next day, I was like, yeah, don't chase it. Like, right, wait for the consolidations. If you miss this move, like, look at, and then in hindsight, you're like, oh, but it would have went up to $5. Yeah, true, but also it might have came back down, right? So some breakouts take off, some don't. And then this will set up again, right? It'll go up, it'll set up, it'll get some tight risk, and then be ready when it does. Be ready when it does. This is such a huge breakout, man. I waited so long for that. In and out, and I caught it right here. And got lucky, obviously. Okay, AEHR. Let's look at that. And EAT. Oh, EAT is that one that has been on my radar a couple of times. So AEHR, it's not the trend that I like to play, people. For me specifically, right? If you thought this was the low or this was the low, you're wrong. This was the low, you're wrong. So weak stocks typically get weaker. I'm more of a trader. Like, okay, if I'm looking to buy this at some point, I would prefer the trend. Like, you see how far? Like, yeah, we'll probably get some sort of snapback at some point, but I'm not trying to trade for that. I get too nervous in those type of things. I look at this, the weekly time frame. I'm like, yeah, dang, this thing could probably snap up at some point here in the near future, but it's way off. And even if it bounces up, right? Like, when am I going to get out? It could still be, it's still in a very steep downtrend. So I don't really play these. I wait for things like this. So if this is just an example, but see how this is like, okay, it would have been the same thing here. Like, oh yeah, you see a fast snap up, but look at the decline, right? If you thought that was, then it kept on going lower and kept on going lower. What I like to see is when we start to go into an accumulation phase and the moving averages start to turn back up, and then we start to see strength, and then potentially you get a longer term change in trend where it goes from accumulation to markup. So if I look at the daily here for this is just MJ, marijuana is cannabis, but you see how the 200-day is starting to turn back up, and this is going up, right? So these are now potentially setting up to go into an early stage of a markup. Now I know that's not AHR, but and I'm not saying to do that. The cannabis stocks are highly volatile for one, and then two, if any sort of like political stuff happens, it could be detrimental to some of these names. Besides the point, it was just really to show you the structure of what I look for, right? Right. Even this big move here, people got hecka excited and it got faded, all the way faded. Okay, let's take a look at EAT. EAT. Brinker. A little loose and sloppy. Loose and sloppy, but it's an uptrend right here. Okay, a positive uptrend. It's just a little bit too loose and sloppy for any actionable stuff right now. So it'd be more of a radar type of watch. If I go to the weekly time frame, like the prior week, it was a pretty big outside trading week, right? It gapped up, closed at the low, and on some big volume. So yeah, I'd give this one a little bit more time to see how it shapes up. Me personally, but it's been holding up rather well. It's just that prior week, the last week, really kind of shook things up for that. Yeah, a little too loose and sloppy for me right now. I like a little bit cleaner look, tighter price action to be like, yeah, okay, this is getting close to actionable. So this is more like watch list material. Like it's on the watch list, right? And then you keep an eye on it and then go from there.
UK Foreign Minister Cameron, after speaking with the Iranian counterpart,
PANW
made it clear to the Iran Foreign Minister they must not draw the Middle East into wider conflict. Cameron saying he's deeply concerned about the potential for miscalculation leading to further violence.
Hey, Dr. Mocha and Brian, thanks for subbing to the channel. All right, so as far as PANW goes, so Palo Alto Networks, isn't this another Nancy Pelosi name, right? I think we talked about it when it was like bumping from here, and we could say, careful there. Yeah, I mean, even this one, it's really hard to gauge. Like when I look at it, I'm like, okay, well, where would the trade be? Okay, so and apparently I had this trend line drawn, and we're breaking from it today. So I guess the trade would have been, you break from this, and then you have a stop here. I would prefer, putting in some sort of a higher low. Is this a higher low? I guess this was a higher low right here. I'm just drawing them out so you can visualize them. Low, lower, sorry, a high, lower high, lower high, a low, a higher low. So I think it's in the potential process of maybe going. And then your risk would be just right, basically here. We're above the bigger moving averages of the 200-day. We're below the medium term, which is the 50-day. That actually held as an area of resistance, and it's declining. So it takes a while for this to recoup and recover and just turn back up. Let me go to the weekly time frame to cut out some of the noise. I mean, I see the case for a pop-up, but I just feel like it's not quite there yet, quite ready. This little pullback here came right into this prior area, and that happens to be a high volume level. You can see this candle right here. And then we broke from that level, and it held from this level, and we're holding in that level again. So if you are long, the stop would be ideal. This would be the risk, and you can play it up to wherever you want from that point for PANW. At least you have a clear idea for risk, though. Do I trade using a tick chart? Yeah, I look at tick charts. I mean, shoot, I'm looking at a 30-second chart right now. This is just to look at quick market structure. I like when I look at the minute chart, or like for example, I like to look at minute charts. But I really just look at the volume. Intraday is really what I'm paying attention to. If there's any crazy volume that happens, to keep an eye on, really just for like S&P 500 or ES or something like that. Like if I look at ES, and I'll look at the 1 minute. But that's obviously not. I can get into smaller time frames, and then also the tick chart that I'd like to look at too is the order book, which is Bookmap, and you can zoom in as close as you want to from that standpoint, just to see subtle changes. But I don't like. It might be on a tick chart, but I'm looking at larger structure anyway. If that makes sense. We came back to the daily expected move, and it's kind of holding up in that area right there. As gamma levels from a 0-day perspective still, they're not really reaching out further like we stated. So coming back in makes a little sense to me. So I still feel like, into this area. Market net flow is waning more here. Okay. It's still positive convergence. We lost it a little bit, but this is telling me, okay, yeah, trade's been made. We were right. There's a big order that came in over here on 0-day level. I don't know what that's about. Yeah, I'm not trying to make any last minute changes here or trades here. I'm gonna just let the market do its thing and come back fresh tomorrow. It was a the other day I did $400 in profit in my funded accounts, which was great. Today I struggled very hard at the beginning, got chopped up in a lot of the trade, and dug out. I mean, it was very well managed, right? By chop, I mean, I kept on trying to execute on it, but the trade wasn't working because of the chop, and I thought it was going to happen. And then by the time it happened, I made very little because of the chopness. So whatever is what it is. Okay. What other names did we see up on here? TSM. Yeah, I mean, TSM's also holding up well. We talked about this one, I think that when it was flagging. And then in recent days, we talked about, I guess, this symmetrical triangle. I can't remember when. I think it was on this day we talked about it when it closed. And now we're just kind of holding tight, right? And remember, strong stocks typically get stronger. So if you thought this was the high, wrong. This was the high, wrong. You thought this was the high after this selling? Well, you were wrong. If you thought this was the high, could be wrong. Higher highs, higher lows. You typically go higher. So yeah, come target 160. Is this a good setup and entry? I mean, we are holding above this. So if you wanted, potentially, you can, I feel like it can come back in a little bit. That'd be nice to reset up. Earnings is around the corner. Always look at earnings, people. So 418, that's next week. So the expected move is $10 on earnings. So, and this is based off where it's at right now. I don't know where it's going to be later, but that can shoot us right back up to this all-time high or take us down. And that's just one standard deviation move. Give me a second here. Oh gosh, my dog. Okay. Look at Apple's up 4% on the day. Holy freaking moly. Oh, look at this. Dude, okay. Hold up. I'm still in some of my position. I am blown away by Apple's move today. This right here was like, hey, this is probably a lot to do with covering shorts. Holy macaronis. Give me a second here. 4% move on Apple. I haven't seen that for a minute. Yeah, I'm up 7.28% on my trade there. I traded AAPU. Thank you. And I'm trimming. Not going to be holding that position now as much at all. Trimming way down. I'm going to take 50% off. And I've already taken a little bit off, but I'm taking more off. I'll take off half. Half of what I've already, yeah. There we go. So I can keep some on if it keeps going. Dude, this thing is just ripping. Ripping. Crazy. Ripping. Grip and rip. Okay, so yeah, man. And making some AI news is what it was doing. Tell you what, man, news always comes at the right time. I tell you, this is what we were looking at yesterday, and it was coming into a prior area of support, that little gray box there. I'll show you. Daily time frame, actually. Coming into this prior area of support, and we noticed just how tight price action was getting, but it wasn't just that. We had little positive divergences in the MACD and the RSI, and what we said was, if it crosses over the high of this day, look for a pop. Did I think this was going to happen? I didn't think this was going to happen. But sometimes you get lucky. And that's what the difference between luck and skill is. Like, right? Like this, that's, if I'm over here saying that this is how skillful I am by catching this move, do not trust people that say that. Yeah, the move was luck. We don't know how high it's going to go. The skill is managing the trade and getting out. Like, for example, getting right here, that right there, the risk that you're managing is the skill. The luck is how high it can go. You're not going to move Apple yourself. You can't do it. Ain't going to happen. Ain't going to happen. Right? Control what you can control. What you buy, how much you buy, when you buy it, and when you sell it. Not, I predicted this will happen. I told you it'll happen. No, you never know. But people, it's Hollywood effect, man. Hollywood effect. People want to predict. Just forecast. It's a forecast. I have a forecast, and my forecast always says this. It says, yeah, this looks like it can pop up higher to the swing high. But if we break the low, then it negates that, right? There's a forecast and a plan. What was I doing? Yeah, we got earnings tomorrow. Okay, so we're gonna look at some of these earnings for these names. Is it after the bell though? Let me pull that up. Yep, risk reward. You know. All right. Could I take a look at Mara, UNH? Sorry, Trey. Tease. Yeah, I'll pull up UNH. My bad. Yeah, UNH, Mara, and I'm gonna pull up banks. Okay, so UNH. Oh, holy macaronis, dude. Healthcare was looking great. This is just... I wouldn't be initiating any trade into this just because earnings is around the corner. Like, yeah, this is probably going to bounce at some point. I'm just not trying to catch that bounce. It's a pretty dramatic move. Very dramatic move. Right? It's the same thing with like some of these retailers, like, right? Lulu looks like it's going to bounce. It does, like, right? It looked like it was bounce here, but then it went lower. It literally looks like it can bounce, right? This very tight wedge pattern. Yeah, it's probably going to bounce. How high? I don't know. And it probably is going to just be a higher low. That's what happens, right? Markets move, they put in higher highs, higher lows, lower highs, lower lows, and so forth, right? So this has just been one straight move. It's an expansionary move. You can see the candles there. They're getting smaller. The range is getting tighter. Okay, so then you're going to have probably a big move. Like that can be one big move to the downside. I don't know, but it could be a quick bounce. But if it does bounce, all it's doing is putting in at the time a higher low until otherwise. So yeah, like UNH, yeah, we could probably bounce, right? Probably. But when, how to time it, okay, maybe you look at this and you say, hey, I mean, even that looks like a bear flag. Looks like it wants to get clipped. Maybe a positive divergence forms. Maybe you wait for the 5-day moving average to turn back around and for price to get back above it. You just got to be very tactical in that approach. It's not my style right now. When there's a lot of other good setups, I'm not trying to catch these lows or try to fade highs. I'm like I said, like today I did one swing trade other than Apple, but Apple was in on yesterday's close basically, pre-entry, FTX, right? Like price action's pulling in. I'm only doing a 3% position. If it comes down here, I'm out. And if it turns back up, I'll re-enter. Not much to it. Not much to it. Okay, so we do have, oh wait, UNH and Mara, right? Somebody had Mara asked. Oh, and you know what too? Like, I got to show you this actually. Look at Bitcoin. I'm not lying, dude. Bitcoin looks pretty good. And it's actually, it looks decent. Like, look at this thing. This is getting tight. It's looking like it could set up. Now, I'm going to revisit this here in a moment. Like, right, what's the ETF? IBIT? Yeah, IBIT. Look at, like, look at how tight this is getting. Looks like it's about to make a move. I'm going to pull up the Sailor to Shift tool to give you a final thought on that. But let me pull up Mara. The concern with some of these names is they haven't been moving with the price of Bitcoin, and they usually do. So I think that can re-correlate itself at some point. I feel like that can re-go into sync. So if Bitcoin breaks out, I feel like we can see these names move again, right? But Mara, it's been kind of just slowly declining. Price action there is getting very, very tight here too as well, right? Like, look at this. Like, it's looking like it's getting ready to make a move, right? Not only that, but then volume's drying up here too. So all these look like they're about to make some sort of move. Aggressively. Look at Riot. I even had that drawn on Riot already. It's doing the same thing. This one's actually pulling into this prior area right here. So is it going to expand to the upside, or is it going to expand to the downside? One thing's certain, it's probably going to be expanding here in the very near future. Let's look at the Sailor to Shift tool. Okay? Because it did get a sell signal. It did not get a sell trigger. Okay? Difference there. Pull it up. And then we'll go into bank earnings. My bad. Okay. So the Sailor to Shift tool, for those that might not know, this measures the rate of change, 4-week rate of change between Bitcoin and gold. That's why we call it Sailor to Shift. Michael Saylor, the complete bull of Bitcoin, and then Schiff hates Bitcoin but loves himself some gold. Sam's asking if I use fundamental analysis to an extent, but not really, because Sam, a lot of the times, for my investing, it's like longer term accounts that I'm just holding, are ETFs that have a bunch of different companies in them, right? Like VU or VTI, right? Or SPY or stuff like that. So I'm not really too worried there because they manage that, the fundeds. And then when it comes to fundamentals on individual names, I'm not really trading into earnings, and then I'm only holding them for like a couple weeks at a time for swing trades. So I don't think that the fundamentals are necessarily as important in shorter periods of time. But if you're longer term holding like a various position,
for ADM, their animal
I would see,
nutrition
yeah,
unit expanding recall to include 17 additional lots of chicken, swine, and rabbit feed. Alpha Delta Michael.
gross, whatever that means. So that would be my take there. Trader Joe's saying a 4% move on Apple is very rare. Only happened one time in 2023. Yeah. Yeah, baby. Glad we caught it. Sort of. Caught some of it. Okay. Bitcoin. So the Sailor to Shift tool, recently, the last week, it crossed under the rate of change of 0. Okay. So that means when it was positive, it came to negative. That there in a closed bid layer, it's a sell signal. But you have to wait for the trigger. So over here, we had a sell signal. But see how it says no trigger? It's because the week that we got a sell signal, the next week, it didn't cross under the prior trading week low. Right? So if you look in this corner, see this week right here, this big tail? That's when we got the sell signal. Or no, we got the sell signal right before, or somewhere right around there. And then the trigger would have been if we crossed below the low of that candle, which we did not. And then the rate of change went positive the next week, negates it. No sell trigger. No, there was a signal, but no trigger. Here, what are we seeing? The prior week, this candle right there, it's hard to see. This candle right there, it's roughly at about 64,000 and some change, 65,000, the low.
NYC volume 8% below its 1-month average. Advancers flat to decliners. Nasdaq volume 4% below its 1-month average. Advancers lead decliners by 1.2 to 1. VIX index trading lower by 5% at 1506.
Okay. So we got the sell signal and it's still below there. So if this week, right, we still have Friday, Saturday, Sunday to get a new candle. I think it's Sunday when we get the new candle, or the next day. I can't remember. If we're below in a negative rate of change environment, the sell signal continues. But the difference is we go from the low of this week and we move it up to the next week. And then if the following week crosses below that, that would be the official trigger. Now, if this turns back up and there is no cross below either of these weeks, that means that there was officially no trigger. The trigger comes if we cross below. Currently, we'd have to cross below the low of the prior week, which is like 64,000. A little bit higher than that. 60. I don't know what the low is. I can't see it. It's like above 64,000, below 65,000. Okay. So that would have to cross. Now, if we get our new candle and we stay within a negative rate of change, which it looks like we probably will, unless something dramatic changes and by tomorrow or the next day, with the price of Bitcoin, our stop would move to the low of this week, and the low of this week is what? Like just under like 67,000 and some change. So we'll revisit it. And if that's the case, it doesn't mean that we can't have a whipsaw. Okay. It doesn't mean that this is the holy grail here, because I'm showing you the absolute perspective as well, right? I'm showing you the absolute perspective of Bitcoin. And I mean, it looks pretty darn good, right? It looks pretty good. I mean, there's no denying the fact that it doesn't look, but if we do get a sell signal, it's going to look obvious in hindsight. Like that gives you the warning, and then maybe it breaks to the downside. Then maybe it turns right back up. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it breaks and we see a stronger decline. Maybe it's a whipsaw. Maybe it's not. But you got to take both into consideration, right? You got the absolute price action and then the possibilities of a trigger on my specific strategy. Other people use other strategies, but hopefully that gives some insight there. What's Walmart doing? Somebody asked about Walmart. Do got earnings somewhat soon, a little ways out, but just going sideways. Coming in a little bit today. The next few days, the Bitcoin halving event is coming. So I don't really know too much about like what even that means, but I know that I knew of that. It's somewhere around here, so I don't know what's going to come from that. Pig wants to look at snow. Yeah, I'll pull back snow up. Okay. Yeah, nice little bounce here from snow. It still hasn't really filled this. I mean, technically, if you look at the gap from here, the open price, but technically we closed down here, so the gap would be here from back in October of the prior. Crazy how this move all the way up from October, like with the S&P 500, everything moved. This thing all got completely reverted. But yeah, I look at snow and it's seeing a little nice breakout here on some volume. There's a little wedge pattern, but really it's just going sideways in somewhat of a neutral to downtrend. So it's already made a pretty strong move. And if it closes at the high, there's likelihood that you get follow through, or the next day you have a higher low, higher high. It's very typical of seeing that. So if you go into smaller time frames to kind of get an idea, like, do you enter right here? I mean, the RSI is kind of burnt up a little bit, but now we're above the 5-day moving average, is starting to incline. So what I'd like to see, if anything, right? So you see this low, a higher low, and now we're starting to break above this high. So that means the trend is changing, but now it'd be nice to see some sort of consolidation, this to turn back up, and then to start seeing strength from that point, and then you have a better risk to potential reward and higher. Right now, if you don't really care about that and you're just trying to play it like way back up to the high, you're like, no, I think this is a good entry. Okay, then fine. And then you have a stop under here, and you just let it go and just see what happens. But just make sure your positioning, your position size lets you, like, if you look at that and be like, hey, I'm going to lose $12 per share, or whatever. Say if you want to keep it down even further, $20 per share. Make sure your position size makes sense for that, right? To lose $20 per share if it comes back down. So it's all about structure and how you set it up, right? If you're bearish, you can be right. If you're bullish, you can be right now. That's the reality of it. Like, if you're bearish and you think it's going to come down here, you might be right, but it might come up here first and then come down. Hey, guess what? You were right. Hey, if you're bullish, it might come down here first, but then might go up, right? And you would be right. So make sure that you're managing the risk and the setup and thinking it ahead of time, because because that's the most important part, right? Like I said, you can't control where price goes, but you can control where your risk is at and how much risk. And if you start off small and if it pulls in a little bit, you can always look to add on strength or add on a dip or whatever. It doesn't need to have to be an all at once position, right? And if it is an all at once position and it's oversized, you typically don't hold it for long anyway, and you get too nervous and anxious, and you know, you think about it too frequently. Like I forgot about my sting position. Good thing I remembered, because I probably would have. I feel like I had a stop loss, but I guess it was not. I guess it wasn't good till canceled, because I think I was going to get stopped out here, and apparently I'm not, because I just noticed I was still in the position. So I must have had not a good till cancel order for my stop. So technically I should be out of it. But it bounced back, and it's a smaller position, so whatever. Speaking of oil names, this thing right here, this thing is looking like it's getting ready. I can't wait. This one had a nice breakout. If you look at these prior swing highs and this tightness here, then we broke out on some good volume and it's going sideways. Now, obviously, oil's taking a little bit of a back seat today, consolidating. But man, if oil starts to take off again, if yields also start to rise, look at yields coming off. We're up on the day on the 10-year yield. Oh man, there is just something funky going on today. Funky. I don't trust it at all. I don't trust anything, but it looks good. Look at this, a low, higher low, higher low. Higher low, getting tight here. Oh man, are we gonna go for it? Are we gonna go for another pop higher into the close? Only 20 minutes left. Are we gonna go to the gamma flip line? Are we gonna go up here? Can we do it? Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I turned off my camera. Are we going for it, people? Look at the SPY right here. It looks like it wants to go. Let's see if zero date's reaching anywhere. Not really. Let's see market net flow. Lost convergence. I don't trust it, but man, it does look good though. It looks good. It looks like it wants to go. I'm not gonna take the stab at it going into the close. I'm gonna reset, refresh. I'll come back another day. But if this was earlier in the trading session, I would like this. Look at it go. I like these type of trades, but I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to do it myself. Not going to do it. I'm going to draw it out though, so we can watch it. Not saying you can't do it, by the way. It's all, you can do whatever you want. Man, if this happened like earlier in the trading session, I'd be all over this. All over that. Because it's a little bit later, let it go. There's always going to be opportunities in this market. Is Apple still pushing? Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look. Wait, what? Would I shorten to the close? Nah. I'm not interested in shorting anything. Not right now. I mean, even if it reverses, I don't care. I'm not looking to try to catch every move. Okay. I don't like shorting the strength. Today is market net flow. Today is flow. That's what today is.
A direct Iranian attack will require an appropriate Israeli response.
Let me remind you about did you hear that? The Iranian, there was news that came out the other day. It said about an imminent attack. They did the same thing with Ukraine. They gave us a warning ahead of time, and it happened very shortly thereafter. So we're coming into a weekend with these like assets that have been rising up higher and higher, and this is where things can happen. I don't know. I'm not going to make a trade based off of that narrative. But yeah, I'm not gonna short either. I suck at shorting. My shorts are small positions and they're very fast, very tactical. That's how I trade. That's how I go short. Even when I trade day trade, intraday, I never short. I hardly short because the rip your faces off come too fast. They come way too quick. So it's like you have to be like in and out, ta, 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 ta. All right. So if I am swing trading short, has to be in a downtrend, has to see a move, has to see and it has to break like this. So it has to one, be in a downtrend, and then price would have to make the bounce, do something like that where it puts in another lower high and then crack this low. That's what I would have to look for. And then I would say, okay, there's my risk right here. And then I'll try to back down to here or break down lower. That's what I would look at. And it would be a smaller position still to let it move. But it's so much easier to make money on the long side. It's so much easier for me. That said, if you're right when you're short, especially if you're like buying puts and stuff, you can get some crazy, crazy moves. Crazy moves. There's the back test. I didn't trust this move. I don't trust it. I don't trust you. All right, we're coming into the close, people. Let's take a look now at some of these. God, man, oh man, dude. Apple is absolutely bonkers. Here we go. Here we go. Let's go. Got Michigan consumer sentiment tomorrow. Yeah, what else is coming out tomorrow? We got all kinds of stuff happening, huh? There's a little back test. We're seeing some strength here. Oh, gosh. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness gracious. I'm like sitting here. I'm like, dang, I should have traded this. All right, let's move on. I'm going to look at some of these. So we have earnings coming up. We have 15 minutes till the close. I'm going to pull up some of these expected moves. What expected moves am I talking about? I'm talking about. Cha-cha. Come on. What's going on here? Hold up. Go back over there. Here we go. There we go. I'm talking about JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, BlackRock, Citigroup, JPM. We'll start with JPM first. Oh, dude. Dude, are you going to come back in here and you're going to just prove me right that I shouldn't have trusted you? Or are you going to rip up like this and be like, dang, Daniel? Okay, back to the trade tab. All right, let's look at JPM. So first, I want to look at actually. Is this happening pre-market? Oh, it's before the market. Oh, yeah, people, pay attention here. Okay. Yeah, obviously, it's Friday. Duh, okay. All right, so we have earnings tomorrow. We are coming towards the close. We are going to map out the expected moves live here on the Figuring Out Money YouTube channel and Twitch channel. The expected move for earnings is important. This is like, if you are trying to competitively look at fundamentals, you already are at a disadvantage as a retail trader. If you don't have a team working behind you, if you don't have the models in place, it is the most drawn out, more saturated level of analysis in terms of everything in this market, fundamental analysis. So looking into earnings and stuff like that. So you're already at a kind of a disadvantage there. The advantage that we have here as traders is to understand the risk. And the risk, you can really come into the expected moves. And the expected moves, this is actual data based off of the options market. And it's looking at what the market perceives as risk. You take that a step further and you think of it in terms of a distribution curve. It gives you plus minus, and it gives you a level of the most probable place where the move is going to take place and occur based off of 1 standard deviation. It can exceed that, but these levels that we're going to go over are literally that important. And we've shown that too many times on this channel. So going into tomorrow, this right here, you look at the nearest strike, so 1 day strike, because tomorrow, right, it's 1 day away, you'll see that implied volatility here is at 80%. And look out further, and it goes 36, 30, 20. That makes sense, right? Why? Because the closer you come to big events, implied volatility swells up like a big puffer fish, okay? Then you go into the at the money, cost like 273 for the put or for the call, and then 395 for the put. You add them together, and that gives you a rough estimate of what your expected move is going to be. Now, I just look over here to the right of my Thinkorswim platform. Tasty Trade does the same thing, I think. It's looking at 6.68. So JPM, let me do this for you. I'll go here, and I'll go 6.68. Duplicate. So tomorrow, give me a second. So just literally when we wake up tomorrow or when they report earnings, the price could be here, it could be here, it could be more if it's crazy, if it's something big happens, right? Unexpected. But the market's saying if you think of this in terms of a distribution curve, right? That's my distribution curve on the side. That was horrible. That was horrible. There we go. 68% of the time it'll close within here. This is 68% of the time. That's one standard deviation. You go out to 2 standard deviations, which would be, I don't know, there, here, somewhere around there, which basically double the move, right? It's, what is it, 95% of the time it'll close within that level and this level. But it's very frequent when you do get the earnings report, you tag one of these levels pretty quickly. Okay, so JPM, there's your expected move for JPM. I'm gonna post these on the Discord. I'll get the real levels out if you're not hearing them right now, but once the close of business gets established, then I can get the real expected move. Okay, this is accurate enough. It doesn't need to be exact. It's accurate enough. Okay, so JPM, we're gonna look at Citigroup. Man, Citigroup looks like it's gonna just freaking rocket. Like, come on, this looks like it's just getting ready to go. I love these setups. I hate that we're going into earnings. $2.17 expected move. It's not that big. There's your range there for the expected move. Extend to the left, extend to the right. Duplicate. I wish there was an easier way to do this. I mean, that's a good looking chart, right? Look at this pullback, nice and easy. Yeah, the volume's a little wonky. Not my favorite looking volume, but yeah, earnings, that's the case. So there's Citigroup, right? Up to around 63, below 59. That's what it's looking like tomorrow. Let's go to Wells Fargo. This one looked really good too. Like, look at that. Oh yeah. Oh. Then we got a little bit of weakness today, but it came off the lows going into earnings. What are we looking at? $2.19 expected move. What's the implied volatility on there? 91% implied vol. What the? 2.19. All right, let's do that. Wait a second. What am I looking? 2.19, yeah. So we're looking roughly at about this is the range of risk here for the big dog Wells Fargo. I mean, okay, think of this. These banks look pretty good. Yeah, we're in a negative yield, like a yield curve, but the 10-year yield's rising. And I mean, that's typically good for banks. You get a rising yield. So, I mean, dude, some of these names, I'm ooh, I'm itching. Charles Schwab was one of them too, that, was flagging here, but I can't enter in prior to earnings. But a lot of these charts they look good. XLF came so far and so fast though, right? And then it came off a little bit here, broke that trend. Like, what are we going to pop back up? Boom, and then it's going to go through more of a consolidation. Maybe. I just got to be patient. I don't want to be patient, but I am. It's the reality. I don't want to be patient. I just am. BlackRock, BLK. BlackRock. minutes to close.
Market on close is more than $2 billion to the sell side for S&P names.
Give me a second. Yeah, the XLF looks good. These financials named, they look good. It's just the earnings throws wrenches in things, man. I don't really take stabs like when that's the case, right? Okay, BlackRock. Sorry, I had to do that. $24 expected move, 24.67. So it's 24.67. About right there. In the Discord, I'll post these the real numbers, but this will give you enough a rough estimate, right? So it's like, 812.20 and then 762.93 below us. Let's take a look over here at Twitch. SPX has a nice power arsenal. Hey, Trader Joe, SPX on what time frame? Daily? I imagine you mean daily, right? Look, it is literally just a consolidation, right? Can I look at Roku? Yeah, I can look at Roku. Yeah, let's take a look at Roku. Yeah. So that was, oh, you were looking at the 1 minute breakout. Yeah. Okay, sorry, my bad. Just caught that now. What are we doing right now? We're pulling back in a little bit. Ah, man. That little fake out, man. I told you it was fishy, but oh, what the? Coming in the end of close, man. This is where you get a lot of volume, a lot of trading. I'm glad that I didn't play the breakout, but still, is what it is. There wasn't market net flow. Like I said, it was kind of waning. Yeah, it's kind of coming back. Nothing really changed from a 0-day perspective. Still negative gamma territory. Let's pull up Roku here for you really quick. Someone had asked. This one got just clobbered. This one looked really good for a while too. I think I even traded this a few times. I don't know. There's nothing going on here. I'm not trying to wait out a trend. Like, look at how many days it just stayed sideways and then broke a little lower, and now it's kind of coming back up. It'll probably come back in here, but then I'll wait for it to try to tighten up again. And you have earnings around the corner. I don't really see like a big trade setup right here. So like, okay, I don't know if earnings is actually here, 424. So I go out to 424. It's like, no, that's not 420. If I go out a little bit further, $8, $8.30. So we're looking at roughly an $8.30 expected move. So we can be up there in like the next month or so. Or, sorry, not next month or so, in like 10, 14 days or whatever it is. Like this would be the range that, we're probably going to be playing within coming into earnings. I haven't talked about Intel. Intel got, it got some smoke handed to it. Earnings is around the corner. And you can see the range of the candles are kind of getting a little tighter here. So we'll probably see a move here in the very near future, outside of this. So today was an inside trading day. So perhaps we break out of the high of this prior candle and we move up higher, but careful if we break lower. And then I would just say, wait, be patient. If you're trying to play a balance, you can probably play it back into the 200 day. But right now it's getting a little bit of the sell side. You can be more patient, look at the 5 day and wait for this to start turning back around, price to get back up into it for potential turnaround. You could also apply anchor VWAPs to it. Like say when it did this big break, like if I go like this, I can apply an anchor VWAP to, I don't know, this day, or I can even, let's say this day, right? So you can see anchor VWAP here. This is month to date, by the way. So here it held as resistance. It broke down further. I can probably apply one here now. Okay, yeah. So then it held here, it held here. So it has a lot of work to overcome. So maybe if it comes up here and starts tightening up, maybe it pops up into this prior one, and then we could go to swing for the month to day anchor VWAP there. Just a thought. SPY is coming back to the daily expected move. Coming back inside of it. Can't say I'm too shocked there. Let's take a look at Apple. How's Apple finishing? Ridiculous, dude. Ridiculous. Apple is redunk. What a move. What a move. Did I trim some already?
In New York, only a handful of earnings scheduled for after the close today. No
I
top
did.
tier names.
Oh man, I kind of want to just trim a little bit more. That was nuts. It is a leveraged one that I'm using too, so yeah. I'll trim a little bit more. I know that this thing looks like it can have some follow through, but I'm locking in. I'm locking in. Give me a second. All right, we're coming to the market close right now.
Gold futures look to be closing at the highs of the day, up more than 1.8%. Gold contract continues to break out, approaching 24.
You hear that, people?
23.91 now. In
Gold.
gold.
Look at what is gold doing. So hey, stock. Yeah, no, I probably could just update my risk to reward on it, to be honest. But it was such a strong move, and it's a leverage name, and I don't hold leverage names for like more than 3 days. Yeah, I can hold them longer, but it's the whole decay thing. It was a trade. It was more of a trade, and I mean, it gave me 8% in a day. I'm gonna peel most of it off, and then I'll just let. Now it's like, let me see. Let me refresh this. I got like it's still. Now I got a 3% position, but it's leveraged.
To support future proofing of client broadcast revenues.
NRIX announcing proposed public offering November only of IndiaX rate. Under 25 million.
Mark, for how often do I go live? First time catching. I've actually been live pretty frequently, but it's very new to YouTube. I've been live on Twitch now for about 3 months. I go multiple times a week. I'm trying to get more of a clear schedule, but it's been very difficult because we don't have like daycare yet, or like set in stone times that my family comes and helps out with the baby. CLSK, Trader Joe. Let's pull up CLSK. Dude, okay, so dude, look at gold. What is going on with gold? And what's crazy? Let me look at the dollar. What's the dollar doing? Dude, I don't know what's up here. I'm telling you all right now, it never is really a good thing when you have a rising dollar and rising gold. Today is just a day, but I mean, the dollar just hit a new high for 2023 today. And then you have gold doing the same exact thing.
Bank MB and KP and announcing a fintech strategic partnership.
All right, how did everyone do today? And rising yields, yeah. The broadcast in the background is Trade the News. I got that here for people to help on the stream. I got it for myself too, but Trade the News is an incredibly amazing platform, but it is expensive, very expensive. So hopefully it helps you guys when I get some notifications every once in a while. It ain't cheap. And if it's not valuable, then I'm just going to dump it because I don't want to pay more than a car payment. I don't have a car payment, but it's technically more than a car payment. Maybe not. Well, we closed back within the daily expected moves. Can't say I'm too shocked about that. Made a killing today, Steve. Congratulations. That is amazing. I too made a killing. I made over $80. I didn't do good day trading today. I did good on my swing trades. I became profitable today, day trading, but it was a struggle. And now I got to go kind of look back through that and see how I can find out a little sooner on when I should just throw in the towel there. Actually, I kind of know exactly, but Daily expected moves. I have a video on YouTube. You can just type in figuring out money, expected moves. You should pull it up there. It's with a stupid thumbnail of me going like this. Actually, I can, oh no, I'm not signed into the chat. I can't provide the link yet. We're going to minus 300. All right, you can get that back. Just manage that risk and keep it tight. Sorry about the loss today. It was a hard trading day though today. This was not easy. It looked easy. It looked easy, but it was not easy. Right? When you look at like market net flow, it gave us some early signs, but it was a lot of chop leading into the big move. Okay. Stock, man, congratulations on that. You don't need a super chat me, man. I appreciate you just being here and commenting. That's really nice of you to say.
Uniform.
Good catch. Keep focused. Keep your head on a swivel there. We're pulling back into that 5,200 level. Remember, I mean, the market's closed, but we're kind of pulling back in there. I just haven't signed off yet. The market's closed, people. 5190, 5200. We went over the daily expected moves. I just enjoy hanging out. Hopefully these live streams help you all out. To be honest, I've been thinking about like, hey, do I want to do it as a show, or do I want to just do it as like kind of like a, not a help desk, but like literally how the movie was titled today, a trading buddy, like being able to sign in and have somebody trade by your side. You can get tips by other traders in the chat, or ideas as far as risk goes, or I can pull up the chart when I see it and go through it and then talk about random stuff throughout the day. But it's really just like, hey, like dialing in, just having a trader right by your side. Virtually, I'd love to be able to be in person with a bunch of different traders. That'd be great, but also might not be able to focus too well. But this works. This works for me. Yeah, I'm gonna be back on tomorrow, everybody. Just so you know, I'll be back on tomorrow. I do have daycare. My wife is gonna be taking care of the baby. Sheesh. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'm gonna call it quits on the day. Sorry, you say you want me to pull up QLYS. I'll do that for you really quick. Let's do it. Come on, let's do it.
Applied Digital total revenue 43.3 million, well below the 53.8 million consensus estimate. Just
Applied Digital
a loss of 2.3 million.
Hold up. What is Applied Digital? Oh no, never mind. Okay, I'm thinking somebody else. So QLYS.
During the quarter, they encountered several challenges and impacted their financial performance due to facility power outages in their data center hosting business.
Thanks, JW, for tuning in. Thanks, Brett. Thanks, Aaron. Thanks, LJ. Thanks, shh. Thanks, shh. Hey, I appreciate that, Kurt. I'm glad that you did well this week, and you didn't let one down day mess up your entire week. That's what's most important. You're going to have down days. You gotta be happy with walking away on a losing day, and that means that if you managed it. You just were wrong. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? QYLS. By the way, we have earnings not too far away. Price action is getting pretty tight in bullish context. 20 days flat, 50 days down. This thing looks like it's coiling up for a move here. Just look at it. So if we break out, yeah, it's in a downtrend. So if it breaks out, the medium-term downtrend, maybe it pulls back and then sets back up again while this turns around, and that would be a positive sign. But if it breaks out, you can try to take a quick stab at a pop higher to come to retest this high. But I would say it looked like something like this on a breakout, right? All right, we break out, boom, comes through the 50. It's still declining. Maybe it tightens up here. That'd be cool. Maybe it goes like this. Maybe it doesn't even do that. Maybe it goes like this. But yeah, good risk building in, right? By good risk, I mean it's just pulling in. It's getting tighter right here. All right, people. You're welcome. Vacation time. Good game. See you, Dad. Take over here, Twitch. Fortnite? Yeah, let's play some Fortnite. I'm down. I have my Fortnite up and running. Got my Xbox here on my desk. Mike P. Silva. Mike P. Silva is is the ad. Thanks, Zol. See ya, AA. See ya, Leo. See ya, Trader Joe. See ya, Mad Hug. See ya, Johnny Nux. See ya, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Everyone that stood around. Appreciate it.